Welcome back to Pat and Go with Paul Browning. I am your host, Paul Browning. This is week 9. It's so great to have you back again. For those who are watching on YouTube, always a big thank you. Make sure that we're liking and subscribing at 1040 AM radio at KPPF and also at Pat and Go with Paul Browning. As always, I've got Guy Girtin.
Hello. Good morning there, Paul. Good to be here.
Great to have you.
Thank
you,
you,
that.
sir. You bet.
We've got Mike Lewis.
Good to see you, Paul. Guy.
Man.
Good to see you, Mike. You bet.
The team is back. And we just continue to roll through these weeks. Week 9 is now upon us. So many things have happened. We're going to be able to jump right into all of that. This is going to be the high point. So when we jump into the high point, one, it's brought to you by Castle Roofing and also Lavish Lashes, making sure we're getting our hair, nails, and fashion taken care of. They're getting us situated, right?
Looking good.
But when we go to the high point, let's recap at least this Thursday night game and then get into the game balls. But this Thursday night game, we had the Jets and the Colts. Maybe not the most exciting game. But
high scoring, if you like that.
Yes, very high scoring. And if you like the way that the Colts were able to show, I mean, that was an offensive, display. That was a full-on display of how you want to play football for 3 quarters. I'm not going to say for a whole 4 quarters. For 3 quarters, the Colts were able to put up 42 points within that time.
The game was not as close as that score might indicate. And, Wentz, he had 3 touchdown passes. He played very well for the Colts.
Yeah.
They're a team a little bit flying under the radar. The Colts are pretty good.
Yeah. I loved Jonathan Taylor. He absolutely balled out last night. They had everybody was catching touchdowns. The offensive lineman had a touchdown catch in the game.
Get on his knees.
Yeah.
get here.
So but I do want to jump into that a little bit when you talk about the Colts and flying under the radar. There was some great things that I seen with Indianapolis, but at the same time, for you to let the Jets creep back into the game, it should have been out of there.
Right.
But then they end up scoring 32 points.
Without their quarterback and without White.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He was out.
They had a third-string quarterback in there. You let them put up the points that they did. I think that's a little bit of an issue, and that is one of the things where the Colts can be a contender and get themselves into position to go to the playoffs. I don't think they'll be a playoff team. I think that they'll be a team that is a spoiler.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Jets had, 30? They scored 30 points, but they're 2-6 for the season, so the struggle continues.
Exactly, definitely, and hopefully Mike White isn't out for too long. And speaking of Mike White, I do want to talk a little bit about game balls, which if I could do mine first from this past week 8, I want to give a big shout out and a game ball to all the backup quarterbacks that had to step in and make some plays. Mike White being first, coming in for the Jets. This man threw the ball 45 times as a backup. For you to come in the game and they put the ball in your hands like that and let you throw the rock around. He threw for 405 yards and 3 touchdowns to beat Cincinnati, a team that they weren't supposed to beat.
How did they do that? I don't know.
Exactly.
Mike White.
Trevor Siemian steps in for New Orleans to beat Tampa. I did call that. Then you had Cooper Rush, who we all thought Dak Prescott was going to play. He sets out, and we have Cooper Rush comes in. Cooper Rush throws for 325 yards and beats Minnesota on a Sunday night game. Do we have any game balls from you guys?
I'm going to go with Simmons, the defensive back for the Broncos. I'm going to talk a lot about the Broncos today, but he picked that off at the end to save the game, although he, kind of highlighted a little bit there and got a flag. Don't do that. Don't do that, right?
That's a fine coming. That's a fine he's going to get.
But save the game for him, basically.
And Denver needed that win.
Yeah.
They really did.
And later when we do the flag on the play, I'll let you know about that, too.
More about that?
Yeah. Guy and I both have some comments coming up. Stay tuned. Debo Samuel with the 49ers. And get my mic up a little bit higher for those folks who are watching on YouTube. There we go. Get that corrected. Appreciate that. 819 yards for the season, so he's off to a great start.
Yeah. And it's for Debo Samuel, we haven't seen a receiver performance like this since Jerry Rice within the first 7 games. I mean, that's a huge name to be standing next to, especially when it comes to 49er greats. But with that, I want to put a close on the high point. We're going to be able to go into a little bit more elaboration on so much more from this past week when we get into Flag on the Play right after this break. But this is Pat and Go with Paul Browning.